Good day, my name is Sky, and I appreciate you spending some study time with me. I'm here to help you make money in online poker by teaching you key strategies and getting you to take action. You're going to earn your next superpower with my simple 3-step process today. You're going to be like poker's Spider-Man, you know, your friendly neighborhood amazing poker player, or maybe Daredevil, the poker player without fear. To help you take notes, go to the show notes page, smartpokerstudy.com/pod473. On that page, you can watch the YouTube video for this podcast, and you can also watch my latest YouTube video posted right there for you too. In this video, I discuss the Honesty HUD for PokerTracker 4. You can get this bad boy for yourself, free from the show notes page. Okay, let's roll. Gambate!
We win, and they get the chicks. That sucks, dude.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's jobs. We gotta get jobs. Then we get the khakis. Then we get the chicks. Starting tomorrow, we gotta stop playing games.
You know that question we would debate as kids? Which superpower would you love to have? Well, my answer was always the power of flight, like Superman. But I wouldn't say no to Spider-Man's wall climbing, his spidey sense, his super strength as well. My youngest son, he wants the Flash's powers. And not just one power of like super speed. He wants the super speed, the super reflexes, the super quick thinking, and also the ability to like vibrate his atoms so he can go through walls and bullets pass right through him. Little OP power the Flash has. Superpowers in general, they're special abilities that a small number of people have that everybody would want to have. So let's think about this when it comes to poker. And I want to ask you a question. What poker superpower would you like? Take a little time, pause the video right now, and answer that question. What poker superpower would you like? Okay, time's up. Maybe you answered with the ability to fold when you just know that you're beat. Or you want the ability to make thin river value bets instead of checking all the time because you're just unsure, you're scared of a check raise, you just don't know where you stand in the hand. Or maybe you want the ability to read them for weakness and make the well-timed bluff to win more pots. Well, I don't know the superpower that you just came up with, but the 3 that I mentioned here and the others rattling around in my brain, these are all superpowers that you can develop with a bit of focus and some hard work. You don't need gamma radiation or a vat of radioactive goo or a radioactive spider to bite you for poker. So let me give you my 3-step process for gaining any poker superpower. Step 1, you have to learn how to wield the superpower. Now that means it's time to crack open the books or start up a video, start up a podcast, find an article online, whatever it is, you need to learn more about your chosen superpower. For example, let's think about that first superpower that I had mentioned on the prior slide, the ability to fold when you just know that you're beat. Now, you can start by doing a simple Google or YouTube search for study material. Type in something like "make good poker folds" or "how to fold strong poker hands." You could do this right now for yourself to see what you get. Type in one of those 2 statements that I just said. When I did this, 7 of the first 10 videos seemed pretty promising, from creators like Crush Life Poker, Jonathan Little, Poker Stars as well with Daniel Negreanu. Lots of good stuff. And the articles that came back from this as well, lots of good articles from Split Suit, Cards Chat, or Upswing. Now for me, I have a full course in the Poker Forge called Finding the Fold course. It's going to teach you everything that you need to know, so members can jump into that right now as well. Now that you found your superpower study material, you got to get to work with studying and playing with purpose. Now, I dove deep into this with last week's podcast episode called The Hard Gainer's Guide to Effective Poker Study in 2024. Link in the description down below. To simplify the process, you have to first watch, read, or listen to that training material. Basically, study it. 2, take notes on it. And then 3, practice the things that you learn, those things from that training material that you want to ingrain in you, those superpowers that you want to have. And your search for whatever that superpower is, it's going to yield a ton of results, like the 7 videos that I mentioned. I highly recommend do not study it all in one day. If I was pursuing this superpower and I wanted to watch all 7 of those videos, I would plan it out and split it up. You want multiple days for study and play to really ingrain this new superpower. I would probably make a 21-day plan out of it. Now, day one would be watching that first video, of course, taking notes, and then practicing those strategies that I learned. Then I would play with purpose over and over again, maybe for days 2 and 3, and study with purpose from hands in my database. And we'll get to steps 2, which that's what this entails in just a little bit. But I would do that for the first 3 days. And then on day 4, boom, repeat that process, video number 2, and then study and play with purpose for 3 days in total. Do that over and over again until you're done with all 7 videos and 21 days. Step 2 is to do super powered hand reading and hand history reviews. So every day, as you're working to earn your superpower, you have to do lots of hand history reviews and at least one full hand reading exercise. So go through your PokerTracker 4 database and filter for that situation that you're trying to improve upon. One area that would be perfect for learning the superpower of finding the fold, that would probably be calling on the river. So go ahead and filter for called river and lost the hand. Those are potentially some bad calls. And I highly recommend to start your daily study sessions by reviewing 20 of these hands. Now, I'm sure that out of those 20, at least 10 are going to be ones where you should have folded. Choose one of those 10 hands that you learned you should have folded and do a full hand reading exercise with it. Now, you probably want to choose the one that was maybe the biggest losing hand or the one where the mistake was just so blatantly obvious that you should not have called. You really want to dive in deeper into your opponent's range, into his actions street by street. Now, as you're going through these, take note of all your mistakes, whether they're strategy mistakes or failing to notice your opponent's stack size or maybe noticing their HUD statistics or maybe even some mental game hiccups that cause you to make that bad river call. Now, G.I. Joe taught us that knowing is half the battle. So by knowing the mistakes that you're making, you'll be able to address them as you play and then work to not repeat them. And step 3 is to practice your superpower. I recommend playing just 1 or 2 tables at a time for this. The idea is that you're trying to put yourself into situations to use your superpower as often as possible, or as many times as is profitable. So to help you practice with purpose, I recommend using a tick sheet and write your superpower at the top of the page, and then make a tick mark for every time that you use that superpower. The goal is to make as many tick marks as possible because the more reps you put in with your new superpower, the sooner you're going to master it. It's pretty easy to do this with something that's a common occurrence, like 3-bet bluffing from the small blind. That opportunity happens all the time. However, there are some superpowers like thin value betting on the river. They just rarely occur, so it's really tough to put yourself in that spot. But many hands actually make it to the river whether you're in the hand or not. So for every hand that sees the river, if you're not involved, noodle on the strategy. Imagine you had some kind of value hand. Probably not like the nuts. That's an obvious betting hand, right? Or value betting hand if you had the nuts. But what if you had a top pair hand? What if you had a weak 2-pair hand? What if you even had just a second pair hand? On this river, would you actually value bet a thin value bet? You've been watching the hand play out, so what kind of hand strength do you put one of the players on? And if you would value bet, what size would you make it? Just noodling on the strategies, even when you're not involved, that's great practice, so put another tick on your tick sheet. And to help you learn from your practice sessions, be sure to tag key hands for later review. You can still filter in your database for other hands to study, but these tagged hands are great for learning as well. And then you're going to repeat steps 1 to 3 until you are super powered. Now do this for as many play sessions and as many study sessions, and go through as much training material as you need to feel really comfortable and feel that you've nailed this superpower. It's now a part of your arsenal. If it takes you a full month of play and study at 5 days a week to get it done, go ahead and do it. It's going to be well worth it. So now it's time for you to take action. Step 1, subscribe to the channel. Step 2, give it a thumbs up if you liked the video. Step 3, leave a comment and tell me which superpower you're going to work to earn this week. And then, of course, you have to choose your next superpower. Your answer to that question I asked earlier, what poker superpower would you like? That's probably the best one to start with because that was your gut answer. You know already intuitively that that's the thing that you need to learn. You know that that's going to move the needle on your poker journey. So follow the 3 steps I gave you here and work hard over the coming weeks to give yourself that new poker superpower. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.